So you're an applicant looking to be a police officer. Question: have you reviewed the MOUs for your top agencies on the list? Maybe you're a police officer. You've already been working for a department for X amount of years. Question for you: have you reviewed your department's most recent MOU? If you're looking at the computer screen crazy right now because you have absolutely no idea what an MOU is, I have some bad news for you and I have some good news. Bad news is you're placing yourself at an extreme disadvantage occupationally and financially. The good news is you tuned into this channel and you're in the right place to find out everything you need to know about MOUs and how they affect you and can impact your job as a police officer. Not reading your department's Memorandum of Understanding is like not reading the contract on your new home. It's like not reviewing and reading the loan application for a new car you're getting. It's like not going over the benefit package for a new job. Like, I know you may think that I'm exaggerating, but if you really think about it, you're going to be an officer a lot longer than you'd have that car loan, and possibly just as long as you're actually going to have that home loan on your mortgage. And yes, it is possible to function day to day without reading any of these things. But the question is, like, do you really want to? So, what is an MOU? An MOU, or Memorandum of Understanding, is a contract agreement negotiated between a police department and a governing body, that is the city, county, state, or district that employs that police department for emergency services. What's covered in an MOU? Literally everything. Everything that you could possibly think about that would affect you as an officer working for a department is covered in the MOU. Literally everything from salary to scheduled salary increases or decreases depending on the contract year and what's negotiated, benefits, soft pays, how much you're going to be working, your time off, which days you work, your rotation, the rotation of your schedule, pay deductions, and any other department specific agreements negotiated between the police department and the governing body. Right? Okay. So, one of the greatest things about MOUs is how they cover salaries. A MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, breaks down salaries way more in depth than what you would find on a police department's recruitment website. It breaks down what you're going to make in the academy, what you're going to make upon initial appointment, and it'll even tell you whether or not you will be getting raises in rank and how much you're able to make over the course of your career, including promotions. Now, this is really important because not all police departments offer pay increases in rank. These are also known as step raises. Not all police departments offer step raises. Additionally, not all police departments that offer step raises do so automatically. Some have other contingencies that are in place that might be dependent upon performance, how your yearly reviews look, and how you're performing as an officer, while other departments simply give you a raise in grade because that's what's agreed for in the contract. So this is something pretty important that you want to pay attention to and look for. MOUs also cover other things about salary, like how much you would get paid if you ever got demoted. Maybe you're thinking about, making some extra money, right? Working overtime. Well, MOUs tell you how long you have to work and how much seniority you need to have before you can start working things like overtime contracts. They also will let you know whether or not they compensate you in the regular overtime pay, or maybe they might compensate you in some other way with something that's called comp time. Yeah, wouldn't that be a shocker, right? You go on with the police department thinking you're going to be able to work all this OT, but they're not paying you straight out in dollars. They're instead paying you in comp time to be paid out in a later date or added to your leave balance. Yeah, that would really hurt the wallet. This is why you want to pay attention and really understand and focus and read your departments or the departments that you're interested in MOU. Still not sold? Okay. Well, maybe you're looking at departments trying to decide which one's which, and you're like, hey, work-life balance is important to me. And if it's not, it should be, right? Well, guess what? Your work schedule is covered in the Memorandum of Understanding. It's going to tell you whether or not this department operates with 5/8. That means you work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, 2 days off, or you work 4/10s, which is 4 days a week, 10 hours a day with 3 days off, or you might work 3/12s, which is a weird kind of almost firefighter-esque schedule where you're working 12-hour shifts a day, but you only work that like 3 times a week, and then every other week you kind of have a swing day. That's all covered in the MOU. And if you don't think it's important, I am here to tell you, okay, if you are an applicant and you've only ever worked 5/8s in your life, 4/10s is way sweeter than 5/8s. I love working 4 days a week and having 3 days off. Because whenever I want a really nice long vacation, I just take 1 day off. Now I'm working 3 days a week and I got 4 days off on the back end. Again, something that you're not going to easily find on a recruiting page that is located on departments' MOUs. Understanding and having knowledge of your department's MOU isn't just important if you care about work-life balance. It's also important if you're considering or going to or planning on making some important financial decisions in the near future. Each Memorandum of Understanding, each MOU, is typically only in effect for 4 to 5 years. During this time, all benefits, raises, step raises, soft pays, anything like that that's covered in the contract is essentially guaranteed to be paid out to employees of the police department. However, if you're coming into a police department brand new as an applicant, as a rookie, and that department's at the tail end of their memorandum, I mean, they're at the tail end of their contract, so maybe they only have like a year and a half left on the contract. You really want to pay special attention in these situations. Why is this important? Well, because if that department's contract, MOU, ends and they're not able to immediately renew or reestablish a new contract with their governing body, a lot of those perks and soft pays will go away. So I'm talking about things like education pay, step raises, night shift differential, sometimes FTO pay. Maybe there's some type of mental health officer pay that you're getting. These type of soft pays or extra pays are detailed in the contract, but they're taken away and rendered void if a department isn't able to renew a contract with their governing body. This can greatly affect your income. So having a strong, in-depth working knowledge of your department's Memorandum of Understanding and where your department is within its contract period, so whether it's at the beginning, middle, or end, is important. It can help you make long-term financial decisions. For example, this is extremely important if you're an applicant, cadet, rookie, and also can apply to officers, but really those early career officers who aren't making the most money, they're not that high on the step ladder yet, and they're heavily dependent on soft pays. MOUs, you need to be aware of it. You need to be aware of where your department is within its contract. And if your department's within that 1.5 to year window where its contract is about to end, I would highly suggest that you do not make any long-term, large financial commitment. So that means not buying a house, not buying a super expensive car, and then have to turn around and hopefully be able to pick up overtime to cover the payments. And why? Why is that important? Because if your department's up for a contract renegotiation, those talks with its governing body, with that city, state, county, district, whatever, might not go that smoothly, especially in today's political climate. And that means you could go an extended amount of time without a contract. And trust and believe, you will see a decrease in pay. there will be less overtime opportunities. And if you've put yourself in a bad financial spot, you will feel the squeeze. I am telling you from personal experience. When it happened to me at my police department when I was a rookie, I was completely blindsided. Now, don't get me wrong. I knew that my department was up for contract renegotiation. I've been reading MOUs for years, way before I even became a police officer, and I was still an applicant trying to compile my list of top agencies. I also had 8 years worth of historical evidence. That's 2 contract periods with my department to show that everything should be going smooth. We should get X amount of percentage in our salary. These benefits should hold firm. So I was 100% confident that things were going to go off without a hitch. I was 100% wrong. And I made a huge mistake in assuming that. A mistake that set me and my family back several years on investments and ate heavily into our savings just so that we can keep our heads afloat. Those contract negotiations between my department and the city went so horribly wrong. It was like watching like a car crash and a bad play happen right before my eyes. And quickly we passed the little extension period that's built into most contracts. And we found ourselves out in the middle of no man's land. And what no man's land is in our profession, in the policing profession, is civil service. That is just the bare bones, nitty gritty of policing. It's like, yeah, they have to pay us, but they don't gotta pay us for everything. They don't gotta pay us to be on night shift. They don't have to pay us to work evenings or the swing shift. They don't have to pay us because we have a degree. And so they snatch all those pays away. I personally, as a rookie officer, lost $650 a month. And that killed because me and my wife and my family had just purchased a new house based on the income that I had before they had taken that $650 out. And so once we were on civil service and that money wasn't coming in, we had to find a place for that $650. We had to find somewhere to get that $650. And unfortunately, but fortunately, it came out of savings. Fortunately, because we had the savings to be able to weather that storm. And don't like try to underestimate what I'm saying here. This wasn't a short time. This wasn't like 3 months without a contract. This wasn't even 6 months without a contract. This wasn't 8 months without a contract. If I recall, it was something like 13 or 14 months, over a year, that we went as a police. We had like 2 or 3 academy classes graduate while we still didn't have a contract. We still weren't getting paid to work nights, evenings, soft pay, mental health officer pay, language pay. I went over a year without getting $650 per month that I was entitled to. And that ate out of my savings. And we had this new house that we probably shouldn't have been in the first place. Probably should have got something cheaper. But that's a story for another video. The whole point is it placed me in a really bad spot. And I would highly suggest that if your department is coming up on a contract, you do not make any big long-term financial commitments before you see how those contract negotiations play out. You've been warned. So there's my little story on that. And like I said, I'll get into the whole house thing on a whole separate video because a lot I want to share with you guys on that too. But hopefully you're starting to see just how important having an in-depth knowledge and understanding of your department specific MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, is to making long-term financial decisions, career decisions, just how important it is in general. Plus, oftentimes when you finally do make it on with a police department and you're out there working patrol, your supervisors aren't going to tell you about a lot of different type of, there's a lot of little different types of pays that you can get as a police officer. And oftentimes your supervisor is not going to be able to tell you, not because they don't want to, like they don't want you to get paid, but because they honestly don't know themselves. Most cops don't read their department's MOU from cover to end. But there's all types of little pays that are in there. You know, you can get paid for being on call for certain things, for certain court dates. You can get paid a certain amount for court. You can get paid certain amounts for all types of little things. Very few things that we do in this profession are for free. But you'll do them for free if you don't know to put the title code on your timesheet if you have it coming up. So I encourage you, if you're already out there on patrol, if you're already in a department, or if you're a cadet or an applicant, when you do get there, read your department's Memorandum of Understanding and be the guy or girl on your shift in your department that helps spread knowledge and make your coworkers aware so that they can make better decisions for themselves. So, before I get out of here, I know you thought I would leave you hanging. You're probably asking, okay, that's cool. These MOUs sound pretty important, but how do I find them? I got you. So, from what I know, I have a very limited knowledge base, but from what I know and from my own personal experience, there's 3 main ways to find a police department's Memorandum of Understanding. Each one is a slightly little bit more involved than the last. So, the first one, super simple. All you're going to do is you're going to hop on Google or whatever search engine you like, and you're going to type the police department's name and then Memorandum of Understanding. So for example, you can type in Dallas Police Department space Memorandum of Understanding, hit search, and it should come up. If you are unable to find the Memorandum of Understanding using this first method, then you might want to try the second one. The second method will require you to search for a police department's association or union page. Typically, in police departments, no matter what tier, the police association or union are the ones who negotiate for these contracts on behalf of police officers and the police department. So if you go to their association page, for example, let's take Austin Police Officers Association. If you type that in Google, you'll see the page. You click the page, on it, you will find the contract, which is the Memorandum of Understanding for the police department. Lastly, if none of these 2 things work out for you, and they really should, but if they don't, you can always just simply go to a police department's recruiting page, send them an email or call, and respectfully request that they send you a copy of the department's most recent MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. This is by no means classified information, so you have every right to access it, and it really shouldn't be much of a hassle. So, some key points to remember about MOUs. When you first get a hold of the MOU, take time and read it in its entirety. Don't skip sections. Don't just hop to the points that interest you. There is a ton of important and good information that literally affects you directly. So take the time and read it in its entirety. Second thing to keep in mind, if when reading a department's MOU, you come across that they are coming within that 1.5 to 2 year contract renewal date, I stress to you that you take this heavily into consideration when applying, and if you're already in the department, take it heavily into consideration before making big financial commitments. This is like the 3rd time I've said it in the video. I promise you it's important and it can go bad for you. If you're an applicant and the department that you're interested is coming up on that MOU renewal date, then I strongly encourage you to do a little bit more digging and find out the current political climate of the area that the police department operates in. Are they supported? Are they liked? What are the talks in the news about the upcoming contract negotiation? Are they trying to defund, or are they trying to fund, or are they trying to simply maintain? You as an applicant have the power when it comes to this to make informed decisions and not throw you and your family into a worse off position than you already may be in. And lastly, if you're able to get a hold of it, you want to review previous memorandums of understanding for those departments. So this will give you a nice historical look on the steady trend of how salaries are going. Are they trending up? Are they trimming down? Have they stalled out and plateaued? Are benefits holding the same, or are they getting better? Are they starting to take away more benefits from officers at this department? You also want to look at what the retirement is. Has the multiplier been increasing, or has it been decreasing? And I'll tell you right now, in most cases, if you look historically, that multiplier has been decreasing. I'm gonna do a whole video on the importance of retirement multipliers later, but this is something you want to look at so that you can see the overall health of the police department that you're interested in. All right, that's it. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment below. Let me know what you guys want to see. I got a lot more information coming out. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay blessed, and I'll see you on the next one.